Hello, welcome. This is Ryan Lester, your host of CXNextLive. Thank you so much for joining. For those of you joining for the first time, this is a weekly series we do talking about the world of customer experience, things like remote capabilities, remote work, remote support. For those of you that have been around for a while and joined all of our episodes, we typically talk about topics of CX strategy, CX challenges, learning from real world practitioners, really to help all of you out there deliver a better customer experience. We're all in a very trying time right now with the global pandemic of COVID-19, and this is a topic we're going to deep dive on today. I'm out talking daily with customers of ours, with experts, joining chat panels, and really we're all struggling. Many of us are working from home, much like myself. I'm doing this broadcast from the home office versus our LogMeIn office. We're dealing with enabling employees working remotely, working from home, changing much to the way we work. And, as our CEO just recently did an all hands in our company, we talked about, this in many cases may become much of the new normal. The way we work, at least for the foreseeable next few months at a minimum. And so one thing we really want to deep dive on today is what are some things that we can start doing as CX practitioners to really lead the charge. There's an upcoming event we have called CX Next, and really we're talking about how you redefine engagement. And really, this is an opportunity for many of you out there to think about how you want to redefine engagement, how you want to change the way you interact with your customers, how you deliver answers, how you solve their problems. And while this is a very challenging time, and I really don't want to minimize that challenge, it really is also a great opportunity to rethink the way you work, to think about, what's the biggest and most valuable problem I can solve today that's going to help my customer, help my employee, help make somebody's day better. And really, if we come at it through that lens, a very customer-centric approach, it really can be a much better outcome. At the end of the day, as things become harder and harder, making someone's day better really will differentiate you as a brand and also lead to hopefully a better outcome for your customer and for your employee. So we wanted to spend some time really digging into this topic. A couple quick items before I kind of dive in and talk a bit further. One is, please feel free to engage with us. We have a number of experts, both in LogMeIn from a customer service perspective, from a CX perspective, our product team, our care organization, our customer success team are all really here to help. So certainly feel free to post us questions, comments in this video or on social channels. And we really want to be here to be relentlessly helpful, to help all you out there dealing with this really difficult challenge to get through it in a faster and better way. We're having a lot of conversations with our customers on what they can do, and really we want to share all those learnings with you. We're revamping our podcast, so we'll be providing a lot of insights there. I've been interviewing people from across the globe, from Italy, across North America and the UK, and we'll be posting a lot of that content as well as a resource for you to help you with your action plan. Furthermore, we have an event coming up that will be virtual in May called CX Next. And that also will provide a lot of actionable insights around how you can better enable your customers through self-service, how you can better empower your employees, how you can deliver better remote support. Many of us are facing this challenge across a number of fronts, and it can be hard to know what to do next and where you should spend your time and energy. So we're going to use this event as an opportunity to really re-rally and redefine for your organizations what customer success means and what customer engagement really looks like going forward. So I really beg of you to use these resources. We hope they're helpful. And then also, send us questions on where you're looking for help. And we can either point you to a better resource, point you to someone doing it really well, or just work through that problem with you. At the end of the day, we really want to be helpful for all of you out there because this is such a trying time. But what we want to focus on today, and once again, for those of you that are here for the first time, is we usually like to really talk about with real world practitioners, what are things we can learn? What are insights we can garnish that we can take back with us today, after this video to really use in our day jobs to be better and more efficient and effective? And I think we're all struggling with kind of daily check-ins and stand-ups and really, what's the next fire and how do we address it? And while those are all great, it also can become a real burden to try to solve it all on your own. So we're trying to capture best practices that we can share with you in a rapid fashion that you can go use in your day jobs. And one great resource we have is that, we're a large company. We have thousands of employees, millions of customers. So there's a lot of great insights we can garnish from our own internal work. So I sat down this week with Seth Woltz. Seth is the VP of Customer Care here at LogMeIn. So he's really on the front line with our agents and our contact centers, working with our customers and new customers, existing customers, on how they can best leverage our products to solve their problems. We have a globally distributed customer service organization, a care organization. So we're dealing with, how do we manage that globally? How do we move them from an in-office environment to a work from home environment? How do we keep them empowered and engaged, but also not burning them out, because they are our frontline to our customers. And if they're not working effectively and efficiently, our customers won't be either. So really, there's so much great stuff we can get from Seth. And I wanted to sit down with him as an expert and ask him a few questions we can share with all of you out there. A couple of things that I want to highlight before we play the interview is a couple of things that really resonated with me that Seth talked about. The first thing that he mentioned, which I love as a term, is really about, how do we mobilize and stabilize our organizations? And to me, mobilize means two things. One is, how do we get them to work remotely? So how do we move them from where they were all co-located in a contact center, which is very traditional, to now being at home and doing this work? But also mobilize them to feel like they're action-oriented, that they're empowered, that what they're doing helps to solve bigger problems, and that they're not just, bogged down in the mundane. So much challenges for our frontline employees, whether they're in a physical store, they're in a contact center, or they're shifting roles as an agent, is that they're dealing with very hard issues and very tired and frustrated customers. So one is, how do we mobilize them so they feel energized and ready to go? And then the second is really about stability. So how do we bring stability so that our frontline employees are really that calming force and calming organization to help our customers? And so what are ways we can do that to make them feel empowered, stabilized, and that we're kind of fortifying that frontline defense so that we can best triage those customers, best manage them, and get them to the best outcome. So we spent a lot of time talking about that. He had a three-step approach. He talked about the right tools, a term, an office in a box, the right work environment. So what are the things we need to have them be successful to do the work, and then also things like connectivity. As we move people remotely, in some places, they may not have great connectivity. So how do we work around that? The other thing that we spent a lot of time on with Seth is really talking about investments we had made in the past around digital channels, around self-service, around things like chatbots, how those are paying huge dividends right now. He talked about how we've seen a dramatic increase in volume on our digital channels, 3x, 4x, the volume we're seeing on our call center channels, because we've made those great channels for engagement. They're really compelling, they're easy to use, they have great content. So we dug in a lot on best practices and things that you all can do out there to enable some of these digital channels that maybe in the past weren't as much of a priority, but now can be quite a saving grace for your organizations and teams, both for your customers in that they provide immediate outcomes, but also for your internal teams as a great resource to help them scale, help them, manage the massive new inbound volume, and also be something that they can invest in to once again feel like they're mobilized, empowered, and making a better outcome. And we also talked a bit about how you can leverage existing channels like IVRs and how important content is in all of this. So I just want to highlight a couple of things to listen to as I talk with Seth. He's a wonderful resource. He also did offer up. He's happy to connect with folks. We'd also be happy to do a further on deep dive discussion with Seth. He's very busy, but I think he's really here to help all of you out there. So without further ado, let me introduce the time I spent with Seth Woltz, VP of Customer Care here at LogMeIn, and talk through some important insights that we've had at LogMeIn as we've gone through this remote work transition. So let me play that video now. Please enjoy. So Seth, I want to thank you so much for the time. It's great to have you here. I know you're probably as busy as ever in dealing with all the challenges around the coronavirus and COVID-19. And I wanted to, as an expert, sit down with you and ask you a couple of key questions to help everybody out there who may be dealing with similar challenges. The first thing I want to talk to is, I guess, how is particularly for us and our customers COVID-19 impacting our customer experience and our care organization? Like, what are some of the immediate challenges that we're facing?
Yeah, so yes, no problem taking the time, Ryan. Essentially, we're seeing, as our customers and businesses out there really shifting to remote working and and trying to keep business continuity, keeping their businesses going, we're seeing obviously a large increase for our products across the board, whether it's, GoToMeeting, our Bold 360 products, or our, Pro Central kind of remote access products. Across the board, there's this increased demand. So from a customer care experience, obviously we're working as hard as we can to keep up with the demand, while we're also impacted directly with our employees. So our employees, we have a distributed global workforce where a portion of those employees actually do work from home, but the bulk of our teams are in brick and mortar offices. So we really had to mobilize our employees very quickly, which we ended up doing in about a 2-week time frame, getting our 300 plus global organization working remote out of their homes, which in itself was a huge effort. We never closed our phone lines down, and we're able to keep things running as we transitioned folks to home. So there's really this twofold of mobilizing and stabilizing our workforce, along with keeping up with the increased demand of call volume and customer requests.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that the two words there are really important, of like the stability part of it, of how do we continue to deliver that same quality of service. Now, granted, hold times may change or some things may adjust, but to your point, we want to still be able to answer those phone calls, but do it in a period of transition. And I think that's what can be so hard for companies, because they're not only trying to keep that continuity up, but they're also trying to optimize this future state where everybody's working remotely.
Yeah, definitely.
And so are there, I guess, out of that learning, I mean, one of the nice things is we already had some folks that were working remote, but is there some advice you can give to folks out there, or some early learnings you had of dealing with this challenge and dealing with this transition?
Yeah, so I'll just kind of outline, how we did it, which was, again, a huge effort, but I think we're kind of positioned well, because we did have we have a largely distributed workforce, with offices, around the globe, and folks working remote already. So, from a phone system perspective, we have a phone system that supports, both in office and remote working. So essentially we're able to give our reps, office in a box. And so they could actually have their desktops, their laptops, take all of that stuff home and hook back into our, home-based connections, and actually keep their phone system running, keep access into CRM system, and then keep access into all the back office systems that they needed to be able to support our customers. So we've basically duplicated the in-office experience at home for our reps. That was kind of challenge number one. Challenge number two is really having a good workspace at home that our reps could work out of. So, a lot of our reps, may be, living at home. They might be sharing a home, or something like that. So they really had to go and configure a workspace where they could actually support customers and, have a desk and an office.
Yeah.
And so in a call center, that's a little bit more challenging, but we were able to overcome that. And then lastly was really around internet connectivity. A lot of folks may not have had the internet connection at home that they needed to run, power all of our tools and equipment. So a lot of folks had to upgrade their internet pretty quickly, which they were able to do. And you kind of put all those three things together, and the folks were able to, actually be effective working from home.
That's great. Did you do anything interesting around like best practices of like desk space? I know on my side of the world, like people are sending pictures of their desk and their kind of layout, and some of it's to show the mess and some of it's to show best practices. Did you do any of that kind of work where you're kind of showing them what a good desk workspace looks like?
Yeah, a lot of that, was there, so having, a clean environment with relatively little distractions. I myself have 2 small children, so my wife is spending a lot more time with the kids while I'm sitting working. So trying to keep the distractions out of the way. Our team actually isn't on video when they're supporting, so they're just doing the audio piece. So their background is a little bit less important, but we as a company are on video all day long now with all of our peers, coworkers, team members, and so everybody's a little bit more conscious of their background and how all of that stuff looks. So that's been fun and interesting to see everybody's home office environment.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Yeah.
Mm.
And so those are, I think, three good points of like, how do you give them the equipment they need to be successful, the working environment, and then obviously the connectivity to be successful. I guess outside of our traditional channels, because I know even for our business at LogMeIn, it's not like things have slowed. We've had even, more engagement. Things are very busy. People are looking for the products like this GoToMeeting to go and collaborate and, help connect their remote teams. With that surge, did we look at digital channels, or were there other things we
Yeah.
looked at that either we had done before and now done more, or that we invested in previously and now that we're now paying big dividends?
Yeah, yeah. I think a lot of that holds true, really. So from to set the context, our volume increased literally 3 to 5 times depending upon the product. Kind of
Wow.
overnight. Within 1 week, it had just literally spiked, and what we're seeing is a lot of increase of demand from customers that may not have thought about working remote, and not thought about this technology. So we're really having to go through and kind of explain how it works and how you use it, and what's the right application for what you're trying, what problem you're actually trying to solve. Are you trying to remotely access your office computer? Are you trying to better support your customers? Do you have a customer support operation, or are you trying to collaborate, via like a GoToMeeting product? Or something like that. So we're really kind of spending our average handle times have gone up significantly, because we're spending a lot more time with customers. So there's kind of the demand, the handle time, and then what we're really trying to do is leverage those digital channels. So we have support centers in place, for all of our products, which is essentially a center where a customer can go and get any information from getting started, purchasing, or technical support, account management, anything that they need is available in our self-service portal. So we're very fortunate that we had that foundation, and we've really started to optimize that with AI. We put chatbots in place that customers can interact with. You can
Nice.
pass through to a phone agent or a chat representative through the support center. So what we've tried to do is really, we've created this near real-time feedback loop between our agents, which we power kind of with our voice of customer team. So we're listening to calls, we're doing roundtables with agents, and then we're really putting that feedback back into our support centers. So we're working with our support center team on a daily basis to say, hey, these are the top things that customers are calling about. If we could add this messaging into the support center,
Yes.
we could really help customers, help themselves get that information up front. So that's kind of the loop that we've created, and the real big levers that we've pulled are messaging on our support center, with improved articles, videos, written content.
Yep.
Messaging in our IVR, our phone system. So when you call, you're actually going to hear, hey, if you're looking to get started with the product, there's a great, support center resource with videos, and,
Yes.
really trying to point customers back, and setting the expectation that, hey, wait times are going to be really long right now because of the increased demand. I mean, I myself have received that from almost every service that I subscribe to, a proactive email that says, hey, wait times are going to be long. Please use our support centers during this time.
Yes.
And we're kind of, supplying that same message. So it's our phone system, our feedback loop from our agents, and then really getting leveraging our support center as the central source of information and assistance, for our customers.
That's great. And what I also really like about that is, even using something like the IVR message, you're not saying to the customer like, hey, you're not important, or like, hey, you're stuck on hold, too bad, but rather it's, hey, we know this is hard. We're all in this challenge together. Here's some things we can give you now. And so like, go check these out. And by the way, we're going to keep, you may not say this in the call, but to your point, we're going to keep monitoring these and make them better. So if we send someone there and, hey, they're stumbling on, setting something up or provisioning or adding a new user, we're going to see that feedback coming into the contact center, and then we can go update that content in real time. So the next, 100 people, 1,000 people, 1,000,000 people that come through get that better outcome because that new content is there. And so I think that feedback loop is so critical. And then those digital channels become that scale engine for your team and that real-time response that helps go address many of those frequent questions that no one wants to wait an hour on hold to get an answer to.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly it. And so from a, kind of a reporting standpoint, we've started to see our support center volume into our digital channels grow faster than our kind of human assisted channels, which is
Oh, wow.
ultimately what we're trying to get to customers, helping themselves, getting some of those basic answers. Our chatbot is really cool because we actually have, somebody that manages our chatbot directly, and we work with her on at least a weekly basis, if not, every other day. We're connecting and saying, hey, these are the issues. And she can go in there and update the chatbot in real time and reprioritize or reorganize, the questions around what's really coming in.
Yes.
Because in the beginning, we really had a flood of customers that wanted to use our services and buy our services, and
Yes.
those were coming through the support channels. We put out our emergency working kit, which has been a great resource for folks in the healthcare and the education space and the nonprofit space to actually use our services for free. And so we're getting a lot of questions about that as well.
Yes.
How does it work? How long does it take to get set up? But now the questions are starting to shift to more of how do I use, how do I get started? Hey, I might be stuck in this particular area. So we're really having to adapt real time the content that's in the support center around what the customers are asking.
Yeah, and the other thing I like about that too is that things do evolve, and the challenges people face 2 weeks ago are different than now, and different than they'll
Yeah.
face 2 weeks in the future. And I think what becomes important is oftentimes the care organization or customer service organization is kind of that front line where everything comes in. To your point, it might be sales related questions,
Mhm.
provisioning, support, service, upgrades. And important thing for you guys is how do you quickly triage that so you get to the right organization, that you don't want to be handling upgrade accounts, or you don't want to be handling product related issues of their product quality problem. You want to be triaging that to the right organization so they can go address it, but also do that in a repeatable and scalable way. So what's
Yeah.
nice about this is it sounds like you're using a couple different tools in your tool bag of support centers, chatbots, live agents in digital channels, live agents on the phone, and then also routing to the appropriate group to then help you guys best manage this big volume.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly it. And the last kind of piece of advice is we've really our LogMeIn workforce employee base is also largely distributed, whether it's in
Yes.
customer care or outside of customer care. And so I think we've implemented a lot of daily stand-ups, cross-functional daily stand-ups with our counterparts. Just to keep that connection going via GoToMeeting. Everybody's on video. We share the information with each other, and we say, hey, these are the kind of the things that we're going to work through today. Here's what we're hearing, on track. We need to, pivot here. And so just having those daily touch points with everybody has
Yes.
been really helpful. And everybody's in their house right now, so just kind of getting that video connection has been very powerful as well.
Yeah, that's great. I couldn't agree more. At the end of the day, too, we're all humans and we're all trying to work fast, and there's lots of moving pieces. So having those connection points between a distributed team, I agree, is really valuable. And
Yeah.
just, I think this is very relevant to anyone out there. But I think you've given some really sage advice around, driving self-service, offering things like support centers, monitoring what's coming in, implementing next level technology like chatbots. You're leveraging all that, fortunately, on a LogMeIn product, Bold 360. And so I know you guys have been investing in that for some time. Is this something that needs to take a company 6 months to do, or do you feel like people can make pretty rapid changes by investing in a technology like a chatbot or AI powered self-service?
Yeah, I think the technology is actually relatively straightforward for us. I think what some things that took some bigger commitment were actually getting the people dedicated to keeping it up the content.
Yes.
Which was so you can't really just buy the technology and put it in place and it just runs. So you need some good content in there to really make it powerful. So I would say the technology could be implemented really quick. If you have a support center or a website updated already, it's the
Yep.
matter of putting some code on your website with a little icon that says help or chat now, and
Yep.
then having some content behind it that says even if you had 10 different FAQs there that kind of let the customer interact with that chatbot, it would really go a long way. If you have somebody that can continue to refine that content, if you have a phone system that you can put an IVR in that really points customers back to that content. I mean, that for us, if you imagine a funnel and all of the different touch points of ways customer can interact with you, if you can kind of funnel those all back to one central content source that's applicable to what they're asking about, that's where you really can scale, over time.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, that's very, very sage advice. I think that's one thing that people miss is the fact that you can start to move from one channel to another, and the fact that it's like an ongoing journey in the sense of, you may set up the technology, you may implement something, but you want to be continuing to monitor it, just as you would you're monitoring your website for traffic, or
Exactly,
in the world of marketing, you're monitoring your SEO. At the end of the day, it's the types of questions will vary over time, and you want to make sure that you're addressing those in the appropriate way.
Yeah, that's right. It's been very powerful for us. It's really highlighted the need and the benefits around self-help and the digital channels, because there was no way that we're going to be able to put triple, quadruple our workforce in 2 weeks, but we can have a relatively low number of staff augmenting our digital channels and having a really large impact.
Well, that's great. Well, Seth, I want to thank you so much for the time. I think this is really sage advice for anybody out there. And I know you're very busy, so I appreciate you taking the time with me and to educate folks out there. And I want to thank you and your team's hard work. I know it's a very challenging time. Things are moving quickly. But as always, you guys are the model of a great organization.
Well, thank you. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me, and good luck to everybody that's listening out there. This is a very interesting time, but I think there's a good light at the end of the tunnel. So good luck to everyone.
I agree. Thank you so much. Take care.
Okay. Take care. Thank you.
Welcome back. So just for those of you that may have joined partway through, this was an interview I had done with Seth Woltz, who's our VP of Customer Care here at LogMeIn. Seth was providing a number of insights around the opportunity to redefine your engagement in this dynamic world of COVID-19. For those of you that first-time listeners, this is CXNextLive. There's a weekly series we do focused on customer experience, strategy, challenges, real-world examples of success. And this week we're focused on, the conversation topic many of us are, the only thing we're talking about these days, unfortunately, is the world of COVID-19 and how you can deliver a great customer experience while still facing many of the challenges of having a remote workforce, changing the way you engage, changing the way you interact with your employees and your customers. And what we're trying to do in this episode is really bring a couple of examples of what we're doing here at LogMeIn to help those be things you can adopt at your own organizations. So we just finished a pre-recorded interview I had done with Seth Woltz. Seth provided a number of great insights around mobilizing and stabilizing your workforce, leveraging things like digital and self-service, and then how you build kind of a repeatable model of success where you learn from customer engagements, improve your content, improve your self-service capabilities, and then have that be something that really helps to unburden your live agent organization and also create a scale engine. So there were a lot of great insights out of what Seth said. A couple things I want to just touch on quickly is one, he mentioned our emergency remote work kit. That's something we're doing here at LogMeIn, which is a free kit that you can use to leverage things like GoToMeeting, which that session was recorded on, GoToWebinar, many of our IT remote support tools like Central Pro or Rescue. And really what this is about something that can help you enable remote work. So many of us now are struggling with the fact that our employees are working from home. They're no longer in the office. So how do we help them better collaborate with each other, with our customers, and also have the tools they need to be successful? That was something that really resonated with me, and what Seth had said is that really it's about giving them the tools to be successful, helping them have the environment to be successful so they feel mobilized and empowered, and then learning from them and making it better over time. I mean, I think if we take that approach, if we're very customer-centric and employee-centric, I think it can really lead to much better outcomes and make us all feel like we're moving towards a better end state when there's so many challenges and firefights all around us. The other thing I want to quickly spend some time on that Seth talked about is the importance of things like self-service in this new work environment. And self-service, I think, often gets kind of a bad rap. Of people think of kind of old, dated FAQ pages, self-service support sites where maybe there's a search, but it's keyword based. And really, in the modern world of customer experience, self-service has really taken leaps and bounds. It actually can become a first-class experience. And probably the closest thing many of you may experience this is around, an intelligent IVR system, or an IVR system where it's, something that you call in and you can give a voice response and it will route you to the appropriate resource or help you through an automated workflow. And while those are great, they're costly and time consuming and can really be a challenge to get stood up or to reconfigure. There's a lot of very easy to implement capabilities out there today, whether that be AI powered support center pages, things like simple chatbots, or even augmenting your own agents in the background. And that's something I would really recommend to all of you to explore further of how do you better enable self-service with your customers, great, but also with your employees. How do you help them get better access to information so they're not waiting on hold, they're reducing the demands, and also they're getting consistent and immediate outcomes. One thing I certainly hear a lot is the problem with consistency. Policies change, the way we're working changes, our procedures change. And this is really hard for organizations to keep track of. How are you educating everyone on what the latest roles and responsibilities and policies are? So one thing that can become really powerful by enabling a self-service model is you can centralize that content, just as Seth was talking about, where you start to have sources of truth. And it could only be 10 articles, 20, 50 articles, but a small amount of very high quality but high volume pieces of content that really help to build alignment for your customers of what should I be doing, where should I be doing it, how should I be doing it, and also for your employees. So something we're specifically doing at LogMeIn to help with this is we've created a rapid response FAQ widget. We'll post information about that in links related to this video. You can also go to bold360.com/CV19 to find out a bit more. But we're really trying to help. We're really pushing organizations to think about how you want to deliver better self-service. And there's many ways you can do that. We're trying our own approach to help all of you out there, but really think about how you can make a better support center, better FAQs, better ways to support your customers and your employees. The second thing that becomes really valuable out of this are the insights you'll gain from it. So what you'll start to see is, what are the key intents coming in? What are the most important questions? What are the frequency of those questions? What questions are our customers asking versus our employees? And what this can start to do is to help you much better understand where problems exist, where are there gaps, versus it being anecdotal of, hey, I talked to a couple agents, I heard from our web team, I heard from our sales team. While that's all interesting, it becomes anecdotes. And there's been a huge amount of effort being done in the world of customer experience around call analytics, and that's awesome. We should still continue to do those. But once again, that can be timely, it can be time consuming, it can be expensive, and it also only addresses what's coming in through the phone. So there's a great opportunity also to leverage technologies like AI and some latest generation digital technologies to get much better insights into what's happening in those digital channels. What are the most frequent intents? Where are they happening? What are our customers asking? What are our employees asking? And how good are we at doing at servicing those today? So not only is self-service really valuable from a containment, management, scale perspective, but it also can be a leading indicator of what's coming next. What are the new things that you need to go address? And what's the content you need to be updating or creating to answer those frequent questions? So those are two things I really recommend all of you, and something that you've heard from Seth today, to really think about for your own business is, one, how can I deliver that better self-service experience to my customers and to my employees? And two, how do I make that a feedback loop that helps me to better understand my business, better understand where I have content gaps, and then go attack those problems next? I think so much today, people are just looking for, what should I do next? It feels like daunting, overwhelming, and this can really be a great opportunity to go give your organization direction and also really rally and mobilize your frontline employees to go attack that next problem. So once again, we'll post information about our Bold 360 rapid response FAQ web widget. We think it'd be a great resource for all of you out there, but no matter what, think about how you can leverage self-service, how you can leverage AI analytics to better understand your customers' needs and your employees' needs, and go attack that next hill, attack that next problem, and not make it a huge problem, but something that's really manageable and actionable. Finally, I want to thank all of you that have joined us live. We know there's many challenges out there, and we want to be here to help you with those. We'll be doing additional episodes with experts in the world of COVID-19. As I mentioned, I'll be doing additional podcasts. We're happy to do rapid response webinars, whatever is helpful for you out there. We have a number of things lined up over the next few weeks, and we'll make sure we'll be broadcasting those via LinkedIn and Twitter and social channels as well. Feel free to follow us. And really, I wish the best for you all out there. These are very challenging times, and we want to be relentlessly helpful in helping all of you address these challenges, help your customers, help your employees, and leave it healthy and safe. So thank you so much for joining. Please feel free to share this. As I mentioned, we'll have a number of other resources coming about addressing COVID-19, about our FAQ web widget, our rapid response widget, and then also about our upcoming event, CX Next, that also will be providing a number of insights. Really, we're here for you in this challenging time and this change in the way we work, in the way we redefine engagement. And please reach out to us and see how we can be of help. Thank you so much for joining. You're all in my thoughts, and looking forward to our next episode next week. Take care and talk to you all soon. Thank you so much.